The issue of academic stress for post-secondary students, university college students, I think it's an important issue for a number of reasons. I think the most important reason is that the two historical periods, the post-COVID world, the contemporary world right now, and the COVID pandemic that happened 4 or 5 years ago. Now it's these two time periods, these transitions, and what happened before and after. I think it's important to talk about these two important events. During the COVID pandemic, there were two things I think that disrupted the attention spans, the ability to retain information for students of this demographic. So, number one, for this demographic during the COVID times, this group of university college students, they had to grasp operating in learning environments such as Zoom, and they were also required to look at screens like laptops, iPads for long periods of time. And number two, they also had to deal with the news cycle that was mentioning so many things, depressing things, whether it was the death toll count or other horrific news stories. So it was these factors that contributed to the anxiety that students were facing. It was an origin point. Now, if you take that incident and you fast forward it to the present moment now, I believe that those factors have carried over. Number one, the news cycle that I touched upon in the COVID pandemic, it's still an issue now for students, and it adds to anxiety. And number two, the in-person learning environment, it's now in the now, it's a huge transition, and I think many students haven't grasped that yet. And I feel, and so in conclusion, these two factors that I mentioned, the COVID world, post-COVID world, and the COVID pandemic, I think these two factors were important to talk about to highlight the issue of anxiety for academic students in this demographic.